There's a saying in the fintech circle that eventually सबको lending ही करनी है. Do you have any such plans of directly lending money to the borrowers?
Not as of now. What I understand well is distribution.
We have seen a lot of unfortunate cases where borrower had to take their lives as well. How at your company do you ensure that none of this is happening with the end customer, either through you or through the lender?
It's a company that has built with the ethos of doing the right thing for a consumer.
The RBI risk weight that were increased from 100% to 125% in November 23. How have they impacted your business?
It helped us find different solutions to serve consumers. Our mission statement today is Har Sapna Hoga Sach.
Hi Santosh, it's a pleasure having you. Really excited for this conversation.
Thank you, Kanan. Very glad to meet you.
Thank you. So, beginning from our very first set of questions, you spent close to 13 years at Policybazaar. You rose from the ranks of an assistant manager to the chief business officer. What made you move from Policybazaar to lead Paisabazaar?
So, interesting question. Look, having spent 13 and a half years at Policybazaar, I was part of the build-up of Policybazaar, and I think there are very few chances to build a platform that can genuinely change consumer behavior. See, I think Policybazaar did help Indians buy insurance digitally online, and especially products like term insurance and health insurance. And I think those are extremely important products for consumers, and having built a platform at scale, built on trust and transparency, I think having a very close look at how that was built and the journey that it traversed, I think that made it to me very interesting to see if that same playbook can work in a different industry. And with 13 and a half years, that too very early in my career, having spent in one industry, I did not want to limit myself just having exposure of one industry and not seeing what other industries are there in the world. Credit, of course, within the same group, we had the chance of replaying that playbook at Paisabazaar. We had made, I think, a significant headway, but I think it's still at a stage where it has the ability to see the same kind of scale that Policybazaar did. And it's at an important, I would say, intersection, because we are neither too big, neither too small. And we are still at a stage where we can figure out, what is the right way to help Indians get access to credit, and also go beyond just credit, go beyond credit to look at saving solutions. I think build a more holistic, I would say, platform that solves money problems. It could be savings related money problems, it could be credit related money problems, but be one stop solution for Indians beyond insurance, but within the financial realm. And I think that opportunity existed at Paisabazaar. Also the fact that, I was looking at doing something beyond policy, even from a personal standpoint, because I'd come back from a maternity break, and when I came back, as I felt that the team was doing a good job, and the company was running without me. So it just kind of told me that I should try my hand at something else. And interestingly, Yashish asked me that if I was interested in doing this, and of course, if he thought that I could add value at Paisabazaar, I said, why not? So I think it was an interesting way in the way it happened, and I was very keen to build this from where it is. And honestly, I think we have a very good understanding of how to build a scaled up consumer platform, and here's a chance again to do it all over again.
Got it. So, of course, the world knows about what Paisabazaar does in terms of loans, right? You act as an online DSA, right?
Yeah.
What, apart from that business, is that Paisabazaar is focusing on currently?
I wouldn't describe ourselves as an online DSA. I would say that a DSA will help you get a loan. We will help you get the best loan, compare all the options that you have, give you the loan with the lowest possible interest rate at the faster than probably anybody else can. And once you have looked at all the options and you are fully comfortable with the option that you want to go with. So I think comparison, which is what we stand for, and at the same time being able to give you an informed choice and help you make the decision yourself. I think that's the platform that we are from a loans perspective, both loans and credit cards, and now scaling that same solution across not just unsecured but also secured. The same option. So if you have to buy a home and you want a home loan, why should you not compare? What else is there to compare, right? You would want to compare interest rates and go with the lowest interest rate solution, and being able to serve that digitally in a transparent manner. That's what Paisabazaar stands for, and doing that across products is what we are now solving for.
Like which all other products, if I may ask?
So, loans and credit cards, unsecured loans, personal loans and business loans is something that we were already doing. Credit card is something that we were already doing. Now we've started to do the same thing in a very scaled up manner on the home loan side. We've started to do that. You can transfer your home loan and save on that. Secured card, again, a product where a lot of people in India don't have a credit footprint, right? They're new to credit, and India is a young country, and a lot of people who want to start their journey find it hard to get an unsecured product. So they have to start somewhere. Now to start somewhere, we are giving them a secured FD-backed card that will build their credit history, and slowly we promote them from a secured to an unsecured card. So there is a credit builder program for a lot of people who are either, credit impaired or new to credit. So those are the products that we are now offering. And along with all of these credit solutions, we are also now offering savings. When I say savings, we've started off with fixed deposits and bonds. Again, a very interesting space, I would say. Corporate bonds have been allowed on a retail platform just about 2-3 years back. And bonds, I think, can be a very good solution for Indians. Because again, India again is a young country, and a lot of people are already exposed to equity and understand equity slightly better because of all the work that the mutual fund industry has done. A lot of people are today, also doing, F&O, etc. So I think equity part, a lot of platforms have solved, but on the debt side, I don't think we have too many solutions. And fixed deposit, though I would say a good way to save money, is still a conservative solution. So somewhere I think bonds sit somewhere in between. And I think it is, we are, I would say, the right time entering this space, because this space will see a lot of growth. And if we start solving for, solutions and how we can really make bonds accessible to most Indians, then I think we have a right to win in this space. And this is one product that will also do very, very well in a country like ours. So I think we've, in a way, in the last 10 odd months that I've been here, we've been really able to double down on secured and also launch our savings platform. We will also do mutual funds at the right time, so that we have a full bouquet of solution, a full stack, and for consumers, depending on their age, we can actually guide them on what their portfolio should look like. I think everybody should have a mix of equity, debt, and liquid solutions. If we are able to give them, one is advise them on what their portfolio should look like, and also help them build that portfolio through a seamless process. I think that's what we are aspiring for.
Advisory, when we talk about advisory, are we talking about the RIA side of it?
So yes, we do have a RIA license. We've not really done too much with that license yet. Look, I think I would want to more be a final solution provider than an advisory leg.
Okay.
So my sense is that when you finally help people find solutions, which is through distribution, and distribution itself should be advisory in nature.
Got it.
But sitting on the outside and just telling people what's the right thing to do, I think that generally doesn't work. Helping them execute on what works for them in a very broken down, simplified manner is generally what works. And you will see that for the HNIs or ultra HNIs, you have a lot of firms that want to do that, right? all the wealth management firms want to do that. You will have a lot of family offices that take care of such people, or you will also have banks where you have RMs assigned to such HNIs. But generally, the middle class Indian does not really have somebody to check with on what is the right way their portfolio should look like, or what is the right way to invest.
Got it.
And I think we want to be that platform where, of course, through very lean processes and systems and a lot of AI-led processes, we want to be able to give the right advice to middle class and also help them find that solution and execute that solution on our platform.
Got it. Speaking of bonds, do you have an OBPP license currently?
So we started our journey with a partner, and I think it helped us get started very quickly. It also helped us understand, how this business works. See, we understand, having spent a lot of years at Policybazaar, very well understand what a B2C business looks like, how to build demand for a platform, for a product of this sort. So I think that part was well known. But of course, bonds is a different product. It comes with its own nuances. Understanding those nuances and how to structure a bonds business and what does a P&L look like and the pain points to solve. I think that was important before we started with our own license or applied for our own license. And I think our partner was able to help us, give us this initial, I would say, experience of what we should do when we take our own license. And so I think now we have a decent understanding of what should be the right way of building the bonds business. At the right time, of course, we will apply for an OBPP and I think start on that journey as well. But I think very, very excited about this space and very happy with we've not, I would say, built a large portfolio yet, but almost every month we double our numbers on that side, which tells us that there's a lot of appetite that exists for a product like this.
Got it. Since we were talking about Paisabazaar providing a platform to users to be able to compare products very fairly in a transparent manner, to understand which is the lowest cost provider or where they'll be paying the least amount of money, how at Paisabazaar do you ensure neutrality? Because eventually I'm making money out of selling loans, right? So how do you ensure neutrality at your platform in a way that you're not selling someone a product?
You're not pushing a product.
Not pushing, I would say, but even if a customer needs a personal loan or a secured loan, how do you ensure that they're not going to get that product which is yielding you more commission versus what is better for the customer?
See, I think this is a very fundamental question that you asked, and the answer is also very fundamental in nature, because this is providing comparison and standing for what is right for the consumer is what our business model is hinged on. Our business model stands for why should people come to a platform like Paisabazaar, right? So that they can get a fair comparison, and we should help them buy the right product. Eventually, if we don't do that, we are compromising on the business model that we stand for, and at some point, consumer will start figuring out what we are doing, and it doesn't work. So I think we've been able to build a platform based on providing a fair comparison to people, and we've genuinely helped them save money. And because we've done that over and over again, that's why the scale has built up, and that is why there is a lot of repeat purchase on our platform.
Okay.
Because otherwise, what you're, I think, planning to do versus what you do, if there is a large mismatch between the two, I don't think people will not figure that out. And I think this is something that is core to us. It is fundamental to us. That's the basic on which a marketplace model sits on. So I think that is one thing that we would never compromise on. And eventually, our idea is to build scale. Our idea is to build stickiness. Our idea is to build consumer loyalty. And in a product like credit, right, it's not a one-time purchase. There will be, people will need credit at different points in time. So I think a lot of data helps you get smarter credit. So if you're a platform that can really engage well with consumers, that data will help you get customer the right product at a lower rate and in a more seamless manner. So I think consumer engagement is very key to a business like Paisabazaar. And the more you know about a consumer and the more data you can put together, the more data you'll be able to share with the lender, and the lender will be able to underwrite the customer at a better rate and in a more seamless manner. So it also helps your revenue stream. It may not help you in the short term, but long term, all of these adds up. So I think from that perspective, it is both what we stand for, and also it will add up in due course of time.
Got it. Speaking of the new age lenders, or even the new age providers of loan DSA services through online modes, there have been a lot of instances where we have seen them taking control over their phones, permissions, and then harassing customers through unclear terms. Like someone was offered a loan at a very high interest rate than what was offered. They do not clearly educate the customer on whether the loan was a fixed rate interest loan or a reducing rate interest loan, and then they capture their personal information through photos and everything. And then we have seen a lot of unfortunate cases where the borrower had to take their lives as well. How at your company, of course this is too extreme, but how at your company do you ensure that none of this is happening with the end customer, either through you or through the lender that is eventually linked to your platform?
See, we're a scaled-up marketplace, and it's a company that has been built with the ethos of doing the right thing for a consumer. I think at the heart of everything we do, we keep consumer first, and that I think is the fundamental principle behind, honestly, all the people we've hired, at the departments we've created, at the business. The way we go at business is always tell our own team, our people, is that if you have to think of the different parties that you impact while doing a transaction, of course there's a customer, there is a partner, which is in our case a lender, and then there are our own employees, our own interests at mind, right? That is the order that we always think about. That first you have to do right by the customer, then the partner, and then our interests are post these two. So when you build, I think fundamentally you can see, we have a lot of risk checks in place, we have quality, we have customer service, we also do NPS checks, we see some of this data day in, day out. So a lot of this will also be known to you through the data. You will see our NPS drops, you will see consumer complaints. We have, we are a platform, an open platform. Customers can come right to us, they can call us. There is a toll-free number that's available. So of course, all of these voices will start flowing in if something of that sort is happening on the platform. But even before that, I think some of this structurally, if you want to build it the right way, then if you build the company in a manner where fundamentally this is how your teams think about what we are supposed to do at work and making the customer always win, then I think these things just don't happen. And fortunately, both at Policybazaar and Paisabazaar, we've never had an instance where something of this sort has happened with the consumer ever. And in fact, we go over and beyond to also stand by the consumer if, for example, the consumer is having a tough time with a lender or with an insurance company in terms of getting a claim or in terms of wanting to repay a loan for that matter. We genuinely go over and beyond to help consumers find the right solution that works for them. And we feel that we are in a position to do that, right? Because of course, we have a much better partnership with these lenders. We are a scale-up platform. So for a lender to listen to us is easier than for an individual to go and speak to a bank, right? That of course, is always easier, and hence, and the reason why people will come to us is because they know that. They know as an individual, it's very hard to go and speak to a bank to solve a particular use case, which may be, not the happy flow. But for us to solve it for the consumer is much easier. So I think that's also the reason why people, beyond, comparison, that's also the reason why people come to us, because they find it easier to talk to us. They find it easier for us to help solve their problems. And I think that has also led to why a lot of people are accessing some of these financial solutions online, digitally.
Got it.
So especially in, I would say, tier 2, tier 3 cities, you'll find that people just don't know how to go about it. So if they're stuck with a bank, they would just not know how to go and solve their problem. They find that they can write to us, they are heard, and their problem is actually solved. So I think that way, we've been, I would say, fortunate to have a team where we've never encountered something like this. And of course, there are a lot of other mechanisms in place to know if something like this is happening.
Got it. So there's a saying in the fintech circle that eventually sabko lending hi karni hai, right? And you would see a lot of your competitors also who were initially in the DSS space. They are transitioning to getting an NBFC license and have started lending as well. Do you have any such plans of directly lending money to the borrowers?
Not as of now. I think what I understand well is distribution. What I understand well is understanding of how to build a scaled up distribution platform that understands consumers very well, that understands what are consumers' pain points very well, and also understand risk so that we are genuinely a platform that helps not just consumers and also lenders, and we are a platform that understands risk to a decent level where bad risk does not flow through our platform, so that at all points in time our partners are always benefiting from the business that we bring to them. So I think whatever the customer's pain points are, if we're able to solve them with lenders and partnering with them, co-creating solutions for customers, we've not really felt the need, both at Policybazaar or here so far, to get into this distribution directly. Otherwise, if we realize that, okay, this is a genuine problem to solve, and this problem is not getting solved through the license that we hold, then I think deciding to do manufacturing should be a natural progression. I think we've been able to solve problem with partnership and helping co-create good solutions that solve the consumer problem, and hence I think we've not really forayed in that direction. And I don't understand manufacturing. I do not, and hence I think very happy to do what we are doing at Paisabazaar right now.
So speaking of the RBI risk weight that were increased from 100% to 125% in November 23, how have they impacted your business?
See, our unsecured business did see moderation, and especially the last financial year was tough, and even the initial months of this financial year have been tough, but I think it was important. Look, it was important. I saw the RBI's financial stability report, and the kind of data that it showed up with, I think in the second quarter of FY25, 60% of borrowers had more than 3 existing loans when they were taking a new loan. So of course that some of that data is clearly known to everybody, and I think it was important for the industry to see that cycle. I think now we are out of that cycle and we are seeing growth again. But what that also helped Paisabazaar do is not just be a monoline company just distributing unsecured personal loans or credit cards. It helped us find different solutions to serve consumers. I think there were many kinds of customers who were coming to us. There was a customer who could get unsecured products, but there were a lot of customers who could have never got unsecured products. We started serving them as well, whether it was through secured loans or whether through secured credit cards. So that is, I would say, a new business line that was basically started during that tough time. And today, secured is almost 70% of our dispersal volume. So secured has really scaled up well during that during the last 1.5 years, and also we forayed into savings. So I think we become a more holistic platform that does it's a financial wellness platform than just a unsecured loan or credit card platform. So I think it did help us pivot ourselves to becoming a platform that does a lot more and helps serve a lot of customers who have different needs. And if you see, we also rebranded ourselves in a way where our mission statement today is Har Sapna Hoga Sach. So we are now trying to do many more things at Paisabazaar, and I would say that also builds a very rock solid foundation for the future, because see, credit cycles will come, and it's come now, it will also come in the future. But then I think we are building ourselves in a manner where even if there is a credit cycle, we have enough revenue lines and enough ways of serving a consumer where we don't become irrelevant. So I think that way it was, in my view, a very good thing that happened.
Got it. So, like you said, the impact on business, don't want to get into the numbers, but I think for your FY24 financials, I think you spent close to 230 crores on marketing spend. So, how are the customer acquisition levers looking right now? Like, what all do you do to acquire customers, and has that cost moderated over the years?
See, we've become more efficient. I would say that we have to build consumer demand, for a scale-up platform, and our aspiration is right now to build growth. Our aspiration is to at least grow at the 30% CAGR, and hence slowing down on consumer acquisition is not something that we are aiming to do. But of course, it made us be more efficient in the way we acquire a consumer, and some of the ways of acquisitions which were not making sense, we kind of eased out on those and doubled on the ones where the acquisition was happening in an efficient manner. So we reorganized ourselves in the marketing area, and I think today our marketing is far better than it was in the past. Also, I think we are now becoming an app-first company. We had a web platform, we also have a mobile platform, and we have an app platform. I think in this space, app does a far better job, and acquiring consumer through an app is way better than acquiring the consumer through a mobile site or through a website. That, I think, understanding has come in the last few months, and now you will see that almost 10 months back, just to give you a number, almost 28-30% of our customers inquiries on different products would come through an app. Today, 54% of all our inquiries are coming through the app.
Okay.
So we made a lot of progress, through our app, and app also helps you give a better consumer experience, helps you keep the customer informed about where the status of the application is, and I think overall serves the consumer in a much better manner. Plus, we now have the ability for customers to not just buy a credit card, but come back to our platform, pay their credit card bills. We reward them on, paying their credit card bills. We also help consumers to repay their loans on our platform. So we are not just a origination platform, but we are also a service platform. And that, I think, can be done very well once you start acquiring consumers and building business through the app.
We've seen consumers getting into a debt trap due to poor financial habits, poor lending habits. What advice would you like to give to consumers before taking a loan? And especially in this era, when we're seeing that jobs aren't as secure as they were 20 years back, we won't call it a slowdown, but then definitely we are not going through a very great economic landscape, global economic landscape. What advice do you want to give to people who are borrowing money?
See, I think when you're borrowing money, you should clearly understand what are the interest rates that you are borrowing at. And I think first list down all the loans that all your debt today, and list it down in a manner that you understand them. List down all your savings also, and generally the savings instruments will give you a lower interest rate than the loan interest rate. So if possible, liquidate some of your low yield, generally fixed deposits, etc., will give you a 6-7% at best kind of a interest rate. Loans on the other side typically will at least charge you 12-13%, right? So see if some of those can be liquidated for your funding needs, and look at all the debt that you have. Try and if you, for example, if you have, say, a home loan, a running home loan, and the home loan may have interest rate of, say, 7-8%, and if you need more funds, see if you can get a top-up on the home loan. Instead of taking an unsecured loan that may cost you 13-14%, or even sometimes, a short-term loan can cost you 17-18%, right? So I think see the options that you have, and then if you feel that no loan is necessary, then look at the options of taking a loan. and see if there's a secured way of taking a loan. See if you can take a loan against any asset that you have. Maybe you have some mutual funds, maybe you take a loan against that, maybe you have gold, maybe you take a loan against that, or you have a loan against property for that matter. See if you can take a loan against a secured asset. That will of course reduce the interest rate on the loan, and if that option doesn't exist, then of course you can go through an unsecured route. But again, I think there also try and not use your credit card and revolve that, right? That's the highest way of taking a loan with the highest interest rate. So I think sometimes people don't really evaluate their options, and I think just listing them down of all the debt that you today have, all the savings that you today have, and seeing what are your options available. Once you kind of analyze that, then I think going about it in the right manner should do you the right
Got
thing.
it. Like we were discussing in the earlier part of this conversation as well, that a big part of India is still credit underserved, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have very few people who have access to formal credit. Is there any initiative at Paisabazaar that you are trying to build, or you have any plans, such plans in future, wherein we can see more people coming to the formal lending ecosystem, so that they can, of course, have access to cheaper rate interest loans?
I would say this is one area there where, in fact, Paisabazaar started its journey with this in mind.
Okay.
So Paisabazaar pioneered free credit score in India, and it educated people what a credit score meant. And this was early 10 years back, 10, 11 years back, where even the bureaus, for example, CIBIL, used to charge a consumer for a credit report. And at that point, I don't think many Indians understood what a credit score means, what it does for them. So at that point, we were the first ones in India to give out a bureau score for free. So we really made credit score a household consumer name. And we educated Indians a lot around what a credit score does, why is it important to know your score, and why is it important to keep a healthy credit score. So I think we started our journey with that. Paisabazaar, in fact, started with that. And I think in the last 11 years, we've come a long way in that journey. What we've been able to do is build solutions, I would say credit builder solutions for people who are credit impaired. So what we do is, for anybody who's credit impaired, we give them very solid solutions of how can they improve their credit score, how can, if they have outstanding that needs to be settled, we help them settle them in the best, most efficient manner, so that they can start getting access to credit again. If people are not, they don't have a score at all, which means they are new to credit, then we start them on small products. We start them on an FD backed card. We help them buy a consumer durable on an EMI. So we get them started on the credit journey. With that, a lot of people who could not get access to formal credit have entered the credit ecosystem, and today we have about 5.5 crore consumers, and most of those consumers have been acquired through the credit score program. So I think today we are at a stage where every consumer who comes to our platform to check their free credit score, we also serve them a full detailed video it's an AI enabled video in the language of their choice, which explains to them what is their credit score today, what were the reasons why it dipped or why it increased, and what can they do to improve it even further. So I think that's one area where Paisabazaar has done a lot of work, and a lot of, I would say, credit goes to the team in getting Paisabazaar here. And I think, again, we've taken a position where we always want to be the leader in this area. And even today, we are actually doing a lot to lead this area. So you will see, if you watch this space, in the next couple of months, you will hear a lot from Paisabazaar on what are we doing to build innovative solutions to help people get formal access to credit.
Got it. So if we have to, as a closing note, if we have to speak about some 3 strategic areas that Paisabazaar is going to focus on from here on, And where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years as in this company?
See, by FY30, the ambition is to triple our revenue,
Business.
and which means a CAGR of about 30 odd %, which should be possible, but that's just numbers. What we want to do is, one, live up to the mission and vision we set ourselves up for, which is Har Sapna Hoga Sach, which means give a lot of financial solutions to consumers. Like I said, both secured, unsecured, and saving solution, especially bonds, fixed deposits, and also mutual fund, and be a financial wellness platform. I think that is clearly our top priority. I would say the second thing that I really aspire to do is be a true partner for our lenders, which means that we have a risk practice at Paisabazaar, because see, we understand a lot more about a consumer than finally the lender would, because the customer is engaging with our platform. And when the customer engages with the platform, they drop in a lot of data points about themselves, which can help you really understand risk in a way more deeper, meaningful manner. And a lender may never get access to those data points. So in fact, you are the first screener of risk. And if you're able to build a risk practice and manage risk well, your lenders will always see a profitable book and profitable business coming from you. And that is really important for a marketplace. See, we are not a manufacturing company, right? We are a distribution company. And for us, being meaningful for both consumers and our suppliers is very, very important. So to be able to scale up this platform, both these stakeholders are important, and both of these stakeholders should benefit from a platform like Paisabazaar. And I think risk is at the core of being meaningful to suppliers. So that's one area that I would really like to double down on. And a third important area is not to just remain a origination platform, but to serve a customer end to end. Like I'll give you an example. At Policybazaar, we would not just sell them a term policy. We'd help them once the policy is bought, if they need to change their terms of the policy, which is pay in a yearly mode, or they want to pay not for the whole period but pay for a shorter term. So a lot of service points around, a contract is a 30-40 year contract, right? Across that contract there may be many issues that the policy may face. All of those services were available on the platform right up to the claim stage. So we had a very deep integration with all our suppliers, where we would help the consumer through and through with that product. Similarly at Paisabazaar, we've now not just remained an origination platform, but today we also are a service platform. Like, you can pay your bills through us, you can pay a loan EMI through us. We have a collections team which will help you if you have an outstanding and you aren't able to pay the outstanding in time, restructuring that debt and paying it off in the best, most efficient manner. All of that service is now today available at Paisabazaar, and I think that will lead to engagement. So I think engagement, building engagement with consumers, and being a platform that people trust, where if something goes wrong with the product that they buy, they can always come to us and we will help them solve the problem, where they don't need to front end, they don't need to speak with the banks themselves, because that can be slightly difficult for them. And can we be that intermediary that helps them solve their problem, at the same time give banks the comfort that it is a platform that's trying their best to help consumers in a manner that works for everybody. I think that's the engagement layer that we want to be, and hence, being an app-first company makes a lot of sense. So I think these three, to my mind, are very clear that these are the top two things that we need to flesh out in the next few years.
Last question that I have for you: do you have any sub-DSA model on your platform?
We don't.
Okay, so there's no referral program as such?
There is no referral program.
Got it. Any reason for that?
Look, I think a referral program is good when you're starting off, a business, it may helps you get some revenues early on, which are important at that stage for you to, because you will need that revenue to invest back in the company, etc. But a referral model will not build you customer loyalty. A referral model may not. So your customer comes to you to find a solution. Now, if you refer the customer to somebody else who's going to give the solution, it doesn't really work. It may short term help you with some revenue, and early stage companies do that, and we did that at that time. But today, I don't think we need to be a solution platform and not a referring platform.
Okay. Any closing note that you have for us?
No, it was fantastic speaking with you. And you seem to have a lot of understanding of this industry, and thank you for all the questions. Very happy to have this chat.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.